So this is from the cooldown called Which Menu? The key concept here is the idea of variability. So if we take a look at this, we have two different dot plots. They're both symmetric. They're both bell-shaped curves. And when we look at them, though, the difference is this one has data points that are further spread out, and this one's data points are closer together. I know they're identical in this center thing, but this one has data points that are a little further away from that middle, which is why this has a greater number, a bigger number than the MAD, for the MAD than this one does. More spread out means a greater MAD. The greater the MAD of the data, the greater the variability. The less the MAD, the less variability, the less spread out it is, the less difference there is between the different responses that you got to whatever data you were collecting. We can see variability in a box plot as well by looking at the IQR. Now, neither of these have a symmetric distribution. The first one's a little more symmetric than the second one, but this right here, the way that this trails off to the left, tells me that that second data set is skewed to the left. With a box plot, we're looking at median and IQR. They're the appropriate choices. They're always the most appropriate choices for skewed data, because, again, remember, when data is skewed, it pulls the mean either greater or less than sort of that main center peak. Now, when we look at this middle box right here, this represents 50% of the data, and this box represents 50% of the data. Half of the data points for this first one are far more spread out than for the second one. And we can see that in the IQR. The IQR over here is 14, down here it's 10. We expect more variability for the first one than the second one. And again, we can see that by the width of these boxes. We don't even need to know exactly what the number is for the IQR. We can just look at the box and see that one box is wider than the other and say that there's more variability. Now let's talk about the cooldown, because every year that I've taught this class, students have kind of struggled with this one for some reason. A restaurant owner believes that it is beneficial to have different menu items with a lot of variability. A lot of variability. We want our prices to be very spread out. That means that people can have a choice of expensive and inexpensive food. Several chefs offer menus and suggested prices for the food they create. The owner creates dot plots for the prices and finds some summary statistics. Which menu best matches what the restaurant is looking for? Remember, looking at IQR, more variability means a bigger IQR. More variability means a bigger mean average deviation. Mean absolute deviation, MAD. The bigger the MAD, the more the variability. The bigger the IQR, the more the variability. If you have any further questions, please let me know. I'm here to help.